Hey, welcome to Genre Exposure, a film podcast. Join us as we explore the wide world of cinema, brighten our horizons one movie at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Dustin, and as usual, I am here with Jason.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, my dude?
Oh, just hanging out.
Back at it again.
Back at it.
We are now podcasting under the auspicious gaze of your dragon shelf.
Oh, yes, my dragon miniatures for our tabletop role-playing games.
The dragon painting behind it and an ominous sword that's also very near to me.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, do not frustrate me. You may find yourself impelled upon it.
To be careful with my 1 stars in the future, I guess.
That's right. You will like all my movies.
But it's going to be okay today because we are talking about, from 1992, Ringo Lam's Full Contact.
Hell yeah.
A Hong Kong masterpiece.
Starring the immortal Chow Yun-fat.
And kind of just an all-star cast of Hong Kong actors, yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to do all our usual stuff we do, talk about what we've been watching. We got a theater outing to discuss. But first, we are part of the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, and we love it. And there's all kinds of other cool shows that you can be looking into and checking out and seeing what they're up to and getting into. So go to our network's page, check out all those other shows, see what they're doing, see what they're getting into, find you some cool movies to watch, to check out, to enjoy. There's so much and no one can cover it all. So, just get yourself out there, see what you can find. And in particular, there was one I wanted to highlight. I want to talk about our kind of parent show for the network, Attack of the Killer Podcast. They just dropped an episode celebrating the Obon season in Japan to talk about a bunch of J-horror films.
Oh, nice.
So, I love me some J-horror.
Mm-hmm.
It was all films I'd already seen, but it's good for people to talk about those, get them out there, get eyes on them if you've never seen them.
Mm-hmm.
It was Evil Dead Trap, Onibaba, and Tokyo Gore Police.
Cool.
So 3 great fucking films.
I love Evil Dead Trap. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So go listen to that, and if you've never seen those films, definitely give them a watch, because they are all highly enjoyable.
Sweet.
Now, do we start with our theater excursion, or where you want to go?
Let's talk about other things first.
Okay, so what have you been watching?
Okay, well, you know David Cronenberg.
I do.
You know his son, Brandon Cronenberg.
I do.
An excellent director.
Very.
Did you know that there's another Cronenberg?
There is. I do know this, yes.
Caitlin Cronenberg, David's daughter, who also recently directed a film.
Oh?
It is called Humane.
It's been on my radar, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, and here is the gist of what it's about. In the wake of an environmental collapse that is forcing humanity to shed 20% of its population, a family dinner erupts into chaos when the father's plan to enlist in the government's new euthanasia program goes horribly awry.
Well, I can already get the Cronenberg vibes off of this.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, it must just run in the family, man. Like,
I mean, that's how they were brought up, They think that's normal.
Normally, I would decry, trying to, ape, your parents' shtick. But, Brandon Cronenberg has done it so well. And, it's both unique, but also more the same.
It's also different enough.
Yeah.
He's not just aping his dad. He's doing something different.
So that's cool. Was this? Did you dig this? Was it?
I liked it. It's a bit more, dare I say, light than the other Cronenberg films. Even though the subject matter seems pretty serious, and it is, but it's more. It's not really as deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit more surface level, but I found it enjoyable. The performances are good. I love the concept.
Yeah, prescient topic.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Everything's so bad that the government's asking people to actually kill themselves, and they give their family money if they do.
So it's incentivized.
Right.
Great little concept.
So people are signing up their elderly parents and stuff instead of taking care of them.
I mean, that kind of happens now in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing earth-shattering. It's not, It's not going to win any awards or change your mind about anything. But it's an enjoyable time. I recommend it.
Nice.
You could do a lot worse. I think that this is a good debut for her. I have a feeling that she's got a lot more coming. So keep your eyes open for her.
I mean, I think The Son was the same way, right? Because before Possessor, he had another film. It wasn't that one kind of
Antiviral.
Yeah, that one was a little slighter, and then Possessor fucking rocked. Infinity Pool fucking rocked. So
Possessor. I think I like Possessor a bit more than Infinity Pool, although they're both fantastic. But Possessor just blew me the fuck away.
I love both. I lean Infinity Pool, but that's more for just the themes and the topics
Sure.
than anything else.
Mia Goth.
Oh, that too. Yeah, it helps. Yeah, I'm banging that drum because everyone's like, X trilogy, Mia Goth. It's like peak, and I'm like, no, Infinity Pool.
Oh yeah, she's amazing in it. She's so good. How about you, man? You been watching anything interesting?
Yeah, I went on a little J-horror bender myself. That was part of why I wanted to name check Attack of the Killer podcast there, since they're in that same headspace right now. This has been on my radar for a bit. I think I even mentioned it in passing in another episode lately. But I finally circled around for Kisaragi Station from 2022. This is based on a very famous, like, internet-spawned urban legend. And it's very simple. It's a great, like, online thing. And I was wondering how they were going to turn it into a film, because it's one of those ones, like, it works great as a creepypasta. Mm-hmm. When it's like the 5-minute read. And then I'm like, how are you going to make that a feature-length film? Because like, the premise is like, they say like late at night in Tokyo or anywhere around Japan where there's train stations, kind of like you miss the last train, you get stuck there, da-da-da, and like another train comes up, so you take it because you think it's the last one. And as you're riding, you kind of go through a tunnel. When you come off the tunnel, you're in an unknown place. And when you get to the stop and it lets you out, it says you're at Kisaragi Station. But it's like this weird village that like doesn't really exist, and it's not on any maps. And then they say there's all kinds of eerie things, like people kind of almost like a Spirited Away thing, like you get brought there and then you never return and you become missing. And great fucking premise. But it's directed by Jiro Nagai. He's done a bunch of other horror stuff. He did the live action Friends Games films, Tomodachi Game, which I was pretty keen on. He's done some of the other like lower budget J-horror films like Kotsusubo, where they got like a bunch of Japanese idols to be the leads and kind of just like ride on their star power. Mm-hmm. Nothing super remarkable, but yeah, this was actually really super fun and super compelling. Like the way they hook it is you follow this character named Haruna, and she's studying folklore at like Tokyo University, and she's particularly specializing in urban legends as her topic. And so she's like researching the Kisaragi Station thing and like, is it real? Is it just kind of like a thing someone made up and posted online? Mm-hmm. And she goes to speak with this woman that allegedly she went there and actually made it back. And people don't believe her, and it's this whole to-do. And so it's interesting because the first part of the film is almost like one of those, like, it felt very Lovecraftian because it's like, you're with Haruna, you go to the house, you meet this family, she gets to speak with the mom, and they sit down at the dinner table. And then it's just like, let me tell you my story. This is what happened.
Some investigative horror, huh?
Yeah. And then you go into like, that's like a frame, and then you zoom down into her story. And it's very interesting because they do this thing where it's like, once you pass through the tunnel and you're at Kisaragi Station, it only will show it like POV from your eyes. Okay. The person telling the story. So like things will sometimes happen out of frame. Right. That they didn't see. Mm-hmm. So then you don't get any context of like that part. Okay. So it's very cool, but it's like the lady like wakes up there with some other people on the train, and they're kind of trying to find their way back home, and there's strange monsters and strange creatures and like weird villagers that live in the town that attack them and chase them, and there's some kind of weird like supernatural force that's just like taking people over and exploding them. Okay. Very harrowing, and the crux of that story she tells is that there was this like schoolgirl there that was like very resourceful, very helpful, and was like really trying to save everyone. And when it got down to the very end, it was like the schoolgirl and the chick telling the story, and the schoolgirl kind of sacrificed herself and stayed behind to get her out, because they found like a kind of like a gateway that would lead you back to the normal world. And so you think like that could almost just be the film, and that's like only the first half. It's not super long. It's like 80 minutes, so it's not like crazy long, but then the back half of the film is Haruna then takes that story and tries to recreate it and go like to the place herself to study it firsthand. Okay. And it's really weird the second half because it becomes a little goofy, almost like because when she gets there, it's like the same people and the same stuff happening again, and she uses the knowledge of the story to like try to change the outcome and save everyone. Okay. I won't say where it goes, but it ends up at an interesting place. And it gets into the entire thing of like storytelling and like what information you give people and what information you don't give people. And it was a twist I didn't expect, and I really loved it. And it was like a great little stinger on a short J-horror film like that.
Cool. So you'd recommend it?
I do. I quite love it. It's not really anywhere right now, though.
I was going to say, how accessible is it?
2022 it came out, so it's a little too new to have been like picked up unless it was like a super success. So
So annoying.
Will we ever get this over here? I don't know. Kind of been our theme here the last little bit is like trying to manifest some new releases. So
Seriously.
keep it on your radar. If you sell the Black Flag, you can find it with subtitles online, but I'll leave that to your prerogative, how you feel about that. But whether it's now or maybe later when someone licenses it, be on the lookout for Kisaragi Station.
Okay. Well, the basic story reminded me of that Junji Ito story.
Yeah, it definitely has a Junji Ito vibe to it, too.
I wonder if he took inspiration from that.
Could have.
Or maybe it was vice versa.
Yeah, Ito's been at it for a bit.
The Story of the Mysterious Tunnel, is that the one I'm thinking of? I think
Yeah.
that's what it's called. Yeah.
Good one. So we have another thing to talk about, though. We had an
do.
excursion with Michael.
We did.
We did. And alas, he is not here to ring in on it. But
That bastard.
we went to the theaters to see Longlegs.
We did indeed.
Osgood Perkins,
Yep.
the man, the
One
myth,
of our
the legend.
favorites.
Nick Cage, hugely beloved on the podcast. Micah Monroe, hugely beloved on the podcast.
Yeah. Yep.
Seemed like a winning recipe. So, what'd you think?
I don't want to get too much into spoilers or anything, but I will say I did like it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gave it 3.5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Although it is getting way overhyped.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The whole this is the scariest film ever of all time in perpetuity
That's just
is
patent
crazy.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But it is good. And it is effective.
It is good.
I like it. It has a great atmosphere. It's like Silence of the Lambs meets Mandy, maybe in a way, although less trippy.
Never goes
but
as
the
crazy.
whole the kind of Satanist cult thing kind of made me think of Mandy a little bit.
A little bit. I'm going to be much harsher in my comparison, but
Yeah, I know. I don't know you didn't enjoy it as much as me. I mean, it's one of those movies where I didn't really know where it was going to go. And it takes some fun little moves that I enjoyed, and it's one of those movies I could watch just for the cinematography and the compositions and everything.
Great visuals.
And it does have this sense of dread that I like a lot. Nicolas Cage is great. He's in some pretty heavy prosthetics here.
Yeah.
You don't really recognize him.
I mean, he always gives his A game. It's just whether a director can captivate that right.
His character is so bizarre and funny and creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is definitely the sort of dude. Everyone has seen this kind of a guy. He's that creepy guy that's always in the library or something, or maybe he's riding your subway every other day.
Yeah. There's a really great
You've seen him.
scene in the middle of the film where he's going to buy supplies for the next killing.
Yeah.
And he goes into a hardware store and he's kind of just at the counter, kind of because it's a young girl there.
And he can't act normal. He's just not normal.
And
he doesn't
she
communicate in a normal way.
Has this regard of him of he's been there a lot, so she knows him, and she's just like, Dad, the weird guy's here again.
Yeah.
And he just comes out to make the purchase and stuff. It's cool. That was a cool scene. But I am going to be a little more critical on this film. It starts for sure with a Silence of the Lambs vibe. And I was like, this is interesting because it depends on where it goes. And I am going to... I'm going to push some buttons maybe and say that you start Silence of the Lambs and then you kind of go just full on... I'm going to say low-tier Blumhouse.
Wow, that's harsh.
And I'm gonna challenge Mr. Perkins here and say that
That's from the guy who loves Smile.
Smile never perchance to be anything more than what it was. I think that of the films I've seen of his, which would be Black Coat's Daughter and Gretel and Hansel. I never saw what's the other one. I'm the Pretty Thing that lives in the...
I never saw that either.
Yeah.
I have no excuse. It's on Netflix.
I think he has a bit of a problem ending his films.
You think so?
I think that every film he makes is amazing at the start, and it's always centered in some kind of there's a mystery or an unknown or a factor of what is this, or we're going to figure out about this. And when we get to the part where he has to explain it, he always picks a thing and goes with it, which is good. That's strong storytelling.
Yeah.
But I just never like what he goes with, and it always kind of just is really? This is what you're doing?
Okay.
It just got very there's demons possessing people, and here's a creepy doll, and here's some really bad CG smoke effect going on, and
I think that was intentional. It was very Lynchian.
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No way.
That part was Lynchian. Very Lynchian.
I poo-poo upon you, sir.
Wow.
But yeah, I just once we got to the part where it's we've unravel the knot we've built. I was like, I literally hate every decision you're making at this point. And,
Okay, all right.
It was not enjoyable.
Well, I don't think it's his best. I think Black Coat's Daughter is his best. I like that one quite a bit.
I would agree that's his best, yeah, for sure. But I'm gonna say I gave it 2 stars still because amazing cinematography, amazing music that was like wasn't standout, but it like blended well.
Yeah, it was getting creepy.
Good composition.
Yeah.
Just fucking great actors all across the board. Everyone gave like AAA performance.
Mm-hmm.
Good special effects work. And when it was...
Except for the smoke, right?
Except for that. Like the actual like blood, gore, practical
Yeah.
effects. There's some really gnarly stuff in there. And the like... Like the smoke.
The smoke just came out of Dustin's head.
Just
Oh my
vanished.
god!
All my memories are gone now. Who are you? Where are we?
It looks so fake.
Let's see. Effects acting's good. Damn, I should have wrote this down. I didn't think about it.
No titties. Did that bother you?
Titties. That didn't really bother me so much. No, didn't care about that as such. Oh. So, like, the first half, when it's the Silence of the Lambs part, I appreciated how, like, very brutal and, like, documentarian it was with the gore. Mm-hmm. Like, it just fucking happens right in the screen, and they don't try to build you up for it or shy away from it, or, like...
That's very matter of fact.
Because one of the opening scene is it sets up our lead that she is, psychic somewhat, and it kind of gives her hunches that helps her with solving cases. Mm-hmm. And so they're looking for, like, a killer that's in a suburban area, and they don't know which house he's in, and so they're kind of just canvassing and going house to house. And she immediately gets a hunch and is like, call everyone. This is the house. He's in there. I think he's already killed the family. Mm-hmm. And her partner's just like, I'm going to go knock on the door and then we'll see what happens. Yeah. And so it's like from her POV, he knocks on the door opens, and then just boom, he gets shot in the head and drops. And that was such a strong start. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think it kept that level the whole way.
I mean, it's fair enough. Yeah, it's not a perfect movie. It's not even a great movie.
But I think, see it for yourself and see what you think. Because I think a lot of people are going to love this film. And that's great. And even if I didn't love it, that's fine.
I appreciate just being fucking different.
Yeah.
You know, to have a movie like that, and that's one of the reasons why horror horror is in a great place right now. I mean, also because the world is fucking scary.
and that a movie like this got into theaters. Got a wide release.
Yeah.
Neon's doing pretty good right now.
Yep. Between Neon and A24, man, all that elevated horror.
We're eating good.
Man, we're so high up in the air.
Just like that black smoke.
Nice.
Oh, and then, I walked away from it and I was like, why is he called Longlegs, though? And there was an interview, and Perkins said, there is no real reason. I just picked a name.
I mean, it's a little creepy. Yeah. It sounds like an urban legend type thing. That guy Longlegs, It's creepy when Nicolas Cage says it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He can sell anything, though, so.
Well, when he's got the right director to rein him in, yes. Speaking of the right director,
yes,
perhaps we should talk about the movie of the night.
We should. Full Contact, 92, Ringo Lam, star-studded cast. What genre is this movie?
This is fucking action, man.
It is action, full-on,
flat out. What more do you want?
Hong Kong crime action is what I'm going to say.
Specifically, it is Heroic Bloodshed, which we covered in our... Was that our very first episode?
Hard Boiled?
Yeah.
And since that's been a while... maybe not as in detail as you did there, Jason. What is Heroic Bloodshed?
Heroic Bloodshed. It is a combination of contemporary like crime thrillers, a lot of triad stuff. It's Chinese. Triad is their mafia, mixed with like a little bit of old school wuxia.
Yeah,
and just heightened all the way up to 11. Heroic Bloodshed's all about. Usually bad guys, but also sometimes cops. Sometimes the line is blurred.
Like the very anti-hero-esque leads.
Yeah, very anti-hero-esque.
Like they're on the wrong side of the law, but they still have a code of honor of some kind.
Everything is uber stylized. Everyone's kind of ultra tough. A lot of gunplay. John Woo pretty much invented the whole subgenre.
Yeah, he's like the main guy.
With A Better Tomorrow in 1986, which we will talk about one day.
Yes.
But yeah, everything is very much about like honor and brotherhood and
kind of seeking justice often too for like a wronged situation.
Exactly.
Which we get here.
Yeah. And this Full Contact is it's a prime example of the genre. And when this was made, it was waning.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese, I'll just say takeover, was about to happen in a few years. And so the film industry there everyone was really nervous. People were leaving, in droves, trying to come over here to make movies and stuff like that.
Make that Hollywood transfer.
Yeah. And I think that plays a big part into it, into the popularity of these movies.
It's a lot like Giallo in some ways, where like there's that set time, and then when it was done, it was just fucking done.
Yeah, I mean, people are still imitating it, especially in America. Like, I don't know how much, two guys flying through the air with two guns. They didn't make fun of it in Hot Fuzz. Yeah,
of course.
But my God, it was so imitated over here, but never equaled, in my opinion.
Officially, IMDb tags this as action crime thriller, which sure, that works.
Yeah.
And do you want to hit us with a synopsis, or you want me to grab it, or?
Let's see. Well,
I got it.
Yeah, do it.
And well, first let's preface this. There's a main character played by Chow Yun-fat, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But in the original language, he's referred to as Go Fei.
Right.
And for the subtitles, he has been renamed as Jeff.
Or Godfrey. My version is Godfrey.
Okay, my version was Jeff.
Because Godfrey sounds a bit like Go Fei.
Which that's a good like localization thing to be like, what name kind of sounds like the name but is in our language.
Right.
I don't know why they picked Jeff, but it was very funny to hear them be like, Go Fei, and then it's like Jeff at the bottom.
Yeah. Okay, they did not say Jeff.
Also because none of the other characters got renamed. So that makes it weirder.
I think they did, actually. At least my version.
Oh, not in mine. Yeah, everyone else had the proper names.
I have the old DVD that came out, late 90s, early 2000s, whenever it came out. But yeah, because, let's go through the characters real quick, I guess.
Okay.
So we got Go Fei, a.k.a. Godfrey, a.k.a. Jeff, which is Chow Yun-fat.
Mm-hmm. Fucking legend.
Yeah. We got Simon Yam's character.
Judge.
Okay, I think that's what he's always called.
Also a fucking legend.
Yes, and he's fantastic in this. We got Anthony fucking Wong.
Also a legend.
One of the best actors ever to come out of China, who was also in Hard Boiled. He was the bad guy in Hard Boiled.
Yep. He plays Sam.
Sam Say, depending on what version you're watching. But they definitely call him Sam Say. That's I think the
love interest, Mona, played by Anne Bridgewater,
who is hot.
Super hot, and she's got some cool stuff in her catalog too. I'm going to talk about here in a little bit later. I've put a list of some films to mention for everybody.
Okay.
And then we got the rest of Judge's gang.
The big muscly meathead, either called Madman or Psycho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my version, it's Madman.
In my version, it was like Psycho was his nickname, and they also called him Dino sometimes.
I never heard Dino.
Yeah. He's played by Frankie Chen Chi-lung. He's in some other stuff. Notably, he's in Rikio, The Story of Ricky.
Of course.
Which is a fucking insane film, and holy shit, if you've never seen that one.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, you need to seek it out. It's so much fun.
And then Psycho's got his wife, who's also a part of the gang.
Yeah.
They call her Virgin is her nickname. And also her normal name is then Lao Neng.
Yeah, Lao Neng, that's what it is in my version.
Played by Bonnie Fu.
She's a lot of fun. She's having a blast in this one.
She doesn't have a ton of credits, but she is in The Enforcer, which is a big film, and in one of the God of Gamblers films, which is super fun. She was in The God of Gamblers Return.
Okay. Was Chow Yun-fat in that one too? I think he was in all those films,
He's in most of them, I think, yeah.
Cool, yeah, that's the main cast.
So let me run down maybe just some background on them first,
sure.
Then we'll synopsis and get in. So start at the top, right? Director guy, Ringo Lam. Big name if you know Hong Kong cinema. He was a director, producer, screenwriter, basically known for his action and crime films. He was part of the Hong Kong New Wave, which all these guys were working in. And he was known for doing entries into the Heroic Bloodshed subgenre, which you have just explained to us.
Notably, City on Fire. That's probably one of his most important ones, because that came out a year after A Better Tomorrow.
Yes.
It also has Chow Yun-fat, and has Danny Lee in it, who would also be in The Killer with Chow Yun-fat.
My man, you're on point today. Okay. He was nominated for 6 Hong Kong Film Awards, and he won Best Director in '87 for, as you just said, City on Fire.
Yep.
And he made several other films that kind of aped that style of that film, and they were all something on fire. It was kind of like a cycle of unconnected.
School on Fire.
Yeah. Some of his other notable films include stuff like Aces Go Places 4 from 86, Prison on Fire, which again, there's that naming scheme. That's from 87, Undeclared War from 1990, Twin Dragons from 1992.
A Jackie Chan movie.
Jackie Chan film.
Which is enjoyable. Not one of his best efforts, but it's good. Got some good fights in it.
He also had some U.S. work. Stuff like 96's Maximum Risk with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Seems like a lot of the Hong Kong guys like to work with him one way or another.
He was, the West's de facto action star at the time.
And let's see, 2016, he got a Hong Kong Film Critics Society Award for Best Director for Wild City, which was one of his first films after a while. He took a break there. And his last film was a segment in the omnibus septet, The Story of Hong Kong, which came out in 2020, 2 years after his death in 2018.
R.I.P.
RIP. Chow Yun-fat needs no real introduction. He's hugely famous for his collaborations with John Woo. And I'm going to rattle them off. You've already mentioned some. A Better Tomorrow, 86. A Better Tomorrow 2, 87. The Killer, 89. Once a Thief, 91. And Hard Boiled, 92. Which, if you'd like to see us at our very worst, you can go back to the first episode of this podcast and listen to all three of us talk about Hard Boiled.
And almost 100 episodes later, here we are talking about another Chow Yun-fat Heroic Bloodshed movie.
He's known in the West mostly for stuff like 99's Anna and the King, 2000's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is huge.
He's so good in that. He is so good. 2003
Bulletproof Monk.
The Replacement Killers, don't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
That was like his first American film.
And that I discussed recently on the podcast, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End from 2007, playing the slightly rapey but somehow still lovable Sao Fang.
Also incredibly wasted.
Incredibly underutilized.
He should have just shoved Johnny Depp off the screen and taken over that movie.
And some of his other stuff he's very notable for. The God of Gamblers series, which started in 89. 2006's Curse of the Golden Flower, and Let the Bullets Fly from 2010, which we have also discussed in the past. He's like the GOAT of Hong Kong action
He's
stuff.
So fucking cool.
He's the guy.
Just so effortlessly cool.
But Simon Yam, let's give him some acclaim here. Yeah. I'm going to rattle some off. Naked Killer, Election 1 and 2, Exiled. He's known in America maybe best for, wasn't he in the second Tomb Raider film?
Yeah,
Cradle of Life.
Yeah.
Also a South Korean film he was in, The Thieves, is a really cool film.
Okay.
And he was in Black Cat, which I recently discussed on the podcast. And he's in some pretty big Cat 3 flicks, especially some with a lot of acclaim and maybe infamy, like Dr. Lamb.
Yeah, Dr. Lamb is amazing. Have you seen that one?
I have not, but its reputation precedes itself.
Also has Danny Lee in it as the detective.
Oh, shit. Small world. Anthony Wong. Same deal with him. He's worked with John Woo, Andrew Lau, Ringo Lam, Johnny To. He often kind of does these, his shtick, I think that you would say he's most known for, is playing sort of amoral characters. They're always kind of on the wrong side of things.
Well, he either plays the kind of bumbling, sometimes well-meaning, misguided, kind of like he is in this movie. Just kind of weak.
Yeah.
Or he's just batshit fucking crazy evil. Yeah. There's really no in between.
He got a Hong Kong Film Award for Best Actor 3 times. Once for The Untold Story, 93, which is also kind of a big Cat 3 flick.
Big Cat flick. It's fantastic.
Beast Cops in 98, and Still Human from 2018. He's probably going to be best known to international viewers as the triad gangster Johnny Wong in Hard Boiled, which we discussed. And the police superintendent Wong Chi-shing in the Infernal Affairs trilogy in the early 2000s.
He's done so much stuff.
And notably for Western flicks, he is General Yang in Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, 2008, continuing the trend of dumping these guys in unfortunate third films and trilogies. And on that Cat 3 front, you have to mention Ebola Syndrome, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That and Untold Story are very similar, and he's unrepentant in those movies. He is just such a fucking bastard. It's great.
And while I was running down to make sure I didn't miss anything worth mentioning on these guys, there's apparently a 2024 French-made remake of Emmanuel that's coming out later this year, and he's got a role in it.
Interesting.
So keep your eyes out on that. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
And Bridgewater, again, her range isn't as much, but The Fatal Game from 91 is a big flick, I think, to mention for her. And yeah, I kind of ran down like the central lead people there. So.
Sure.
So anyways, the film. In an effort to get his buddy out of a gambling debt, Jeff, a.k.a. Gofei, a.k.a. Godfrey, agrees to join forces with Judge in a weapons heist. The job goes bad and Judge betrays Jeff / all those other names. Jeff plots the ultimate revenge on Judge and his followers, and it is a question of whether he can follow through with his plan.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell. It is not a plot-heavy movie.
No, it is not. I kind of don't like that synopsis, though, because it really downplays Sam in the story, and he's kind of like as important as the other two.
We should probably decide what we're calling him. Do you want to go with Gofei? Or do you prefer Jeff?
Let's do Gofei, because that is actually correctly his name.
Right.
And then
I wrote down Gofei. So.
Cool.
Awesome. So we start off in Thailand.
Hell yeah.
As all the best movies do.
Which is its own country.
Yep.
Banned.
And we see we're in like an antique shop.
Yeah.
And we see this kind of fancy, well-dressed man, kind of dapper.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
He looks cool.
Handkerchief looks cool. And like the lady working there offers him a cigarette. And he does kind of like this magic trick where he lights his thumb on fire and lights it with that.
Yeah, he's a fancy guy.
Yeah. And you mean, oh, this guy's cool. Okay. Then a car pulls up outside, right? And this skimpily dressed chick gets out, and there's a buff dude. Okay, now first of all, they look like they came right out of a late 80s side-scrolling beat-em-up.
Yeah.
You know, they got that hyper-realistic look to them. They could be extras in Double Dragon, you know?
Yeah, it was giving me some Streets of Fire. That, and then the fact that Gofei rides a motorcycle.
Yes.
I was like, did Jason pick this for some like little echoes of Streets of Fire?
Maybe subconsciously. But the girl goes inside. She's like flirting with this cop and shit. He escorts her inside this antique shop. She pulls out a gun, whacks him in the balls. He falls to the ground, and she's holding everybody up.
Yep.
The man we met before who lit his thumb on fire, this is Judge.
Yep.
Played by Salmon Yam.
He's the ringleader of this little group.
He's the ringleader. He asks, where are the gold Buddhas? And when the cute shopkeep does not reply, he's got this trick he does with his hanky that's in his pocket, his front pocket.
Yep.
And he'll use that kind of as a distraction and pull something else out. And he pulls out this freaking blade.
Yeah.
And just fucking stabs her right in the chest. I mean, he does not fuck around.
It's one of those initial like tone setting things of like, he's such a charmer to her, and then he just kills her like it's nothing.
Yeah, and just turns on a dime. And then he's like, she's not even dead yet. And he's like forcing her to the safe. And he's like, open the safe, you know? So some cops are talking to the musclehead outside. He is
Psycho.
We'll
just use their
go
nicknames.
with that one. Yeah. And they're like, you can't park there. And he just kind of laughs and pulls out this big-ass M16 with a grenade launcher. Starts shooting them up. And, I mean, this is when you know it's going to be a good movie because it's big, bloody squibs coming out the back.
Yes. And it's really sad because there's all the bystanders still in the antique shop. And all the stray bullets are just flying through the window. And
Yeah. But there's that funny scene where, what are we going to call her? What?
Virgin.
Virgin?
Her
Okay, we'll go
nickname.
Virgin.
Yeah.
Okay. Where she's sitting rather unladylike.
Yeah.
In the antique shop, and there's this old dude, like, you know, checking her out.
I mean, you're probably going to die. You might as well.
Yeah, you may as well, see something. But yeah, they get these little gold Buddhas out. They pack them up, run out, shooting all the cops up and shit.
And then we learn Virgin's weapon of choice, which is a fucking grenade.
Yeah, she likes to do the grenade thing. And she does the whole thing where you pull it out with your teeth, the pen. You really don't want to do that.
Heard that's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a very bad idea. So if anyone out there, you have a grenade, you're planning on using it, maybe you shouldn't. But
Probably
if you
not.
do, don't use your teeth.
Yep, you will destroy your mouth.
Yes.
And then maybe yourself as you fumble it and drop it.
Right. So then we meet Chow Yun-fat's character.
Yes.
Gofei. We get this credit sequence where there's this... It's Mona, we find out later.
Well, we go into Flashdance suddenly.
We do. And we get a Western rock song by the band Extreme.
Pretty cool song.
The song is called Get the Funk Out. Extreme was a pretty decent band. Now, their first album I had, and it was pretty good. It was self-titled, 89, I think. Not one fucking ballad on it. It was all just hard rock.
Hell yeah.
Great shredding guitar riffs and shit. Then this one came off their second album, which had Wholehearted. Anyone might know this one. It's that slow acoustic.
Okay, I'll throw it in the notes.
Yeah, they were a little lame then. But yeah, this song's kind of fun, and it fits the movie well.
Yeah, she works as a dancer at a club. It's not quite like stripping, really. It's more like...
yeah, it's just like...
interpretive, kind of
Sure.
stylized
I mean,
dancing.
she's scantily clad, but tastefully so.
Yeah.
And we see that he's got a tattoo on his arm, too, that says Mona with a heart.
Yeah. I like that because, like, again, this is a pretty, like, it moves at a fast clip. So they really get you that info, like...
Yeah, it's very show, don't tell. And he's kind of playing around with this butterfly knife he's got.
Which is a great setup for later in the film.
Yep. He gets a call saying that his friend Sam is being held by some loan shark named Hung for not paying up.
Yeah, he borrowed money, right?
Yeah.
And it was for, like, what, a funeral?
Yeah,
He couldn't afford and
yeah.
give Go-Fei's mother a proper burial.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we learned that Go-Fei and Sam were like best friends. Basically, they grew up together. They've been through thick and thin every step of the way.
Yep. So Go-Fei's like, okay, well, I got to go bail my friend out, right?
That's what you do.
Yep. And we see Sam with the gangsters, and he's like, they got him trapped in the car window. It's like rolled up all the way, and his head's inside the car, and he can't move, can't get out.
I love it because Go-Fei like just rolls up on the bike, and Sam's just like, "Oh, hey, man."
Yeah, everything's fine, everything's cool. Don't worry about it. Yeah, they're listening to like some Western hard rock here too. But yeah, Go-Fei rides up on his chopper, and he proceeds to kick ass.
Yeah, he destroys these people.
Pretty cool fight scenes. I like the bit where, because he's using his butterfly knife.
I like that the other guy has a knife too, and they kind of clash.
Yeah. There's some fisticuffs at first, but then they open up the safe, and there's all these long knives in there. And there's that fun scene where he gets that one guy in kind of a grapple, and he's using his blade to cut at his wrist to make him drop his knife.
Just great staging, great fight choreography.
Yeah, and this, again, it's kind of hard to describe action scenes, but the thing that makes this so much better than the American films at the time, one, the stunts, of course, because they really sell it. They sell those hits.
Yes.
They hit the ground. They hit each other. But the camera work, and the editing, it's shot coherently.
It's very dynamic.
Yeah. Like the camera's always kind of moving, and you always know where everyone is, and they know when to cut from something to something else. It's not like Taken, where they're using 11 or 12 cuts just so Liam Neeson
so
get his ass up over a fence.
Yeah, and you don't really know what's going on. And
right.
Yeah.
No, you know everything that's happening here. You're feeling every punch.
Marvel's very guilty of that
in
a lot of their films.
They cheat so much. It's lame. So fucking lame.
But eventually, the gun gets involved, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Hung brings out a gun. But Go-Fei probably takes him out. Yeah, there's all this shit about... Sam's like, I'll pay you, don't worry. And then Hung's like, oh, don't worry about it because I'm going to kill you. You know?
We're past that part.
Yeah.
So Go-Fei and Sam kind of got to go into hiding.
Yeah, so Go-Fei and his buddy Chung and Mona and Sam are all kind of hanging out. I guess it's Go-Fei's place.
Yep.
They know Hung wants them dead, and he won't take any more money because he has to save face. It's very important. So they're trying to decide what to do, and there's some talk of maybe getting involved in a heist to make some money to get the fuck out of town.
Yep. Like you do.
As you do. And we get some tender scenes between Go-Fei and Mona.
We do establish their relationship, how close they are,
and they are married. I thought they were, just dating, but no, they're married. And,
but yeah, so Sam's got a lead on how to get the money.
Yeah, there's a cousin of his. Yep. He's looking for some people,
which happens to be our judge guy from the intro.
Yeah,
which you kind of already know it's going to go bad when you get that angle.
So Go-Fei and Chung go to meet these people with Sam, and they're like at this boxing ring, right?
Yeah.
And we meet Psycho and Virgin are making out hot and heavy, and Judge is hanging out, and his boyfriend's like trimming his nails. And Go-Fei comes in and takes one look at everyone and says, "Nope, we're not teaming up with these people." No.
He knows. He already knows.
Yeah.
But Sam's desperate.
Yeah, but Chung and Psycho take an instant dislike to each other, and they begin fighting. So throughout all this exchange, they're kind of fighting in the background. And Judge comes up, and he's kind of flirting with Go-Fei. You know, you have really pretty eyes.
So this is an interesting thing, and I just was bringing it up now, but Judge is gay.
Yes, Judge is gay.
And it's much more evident later in the film. I really liked it because he's like this very powerful like crime lord, and everyone just kind of accepts this. It's not like...
Yeah, no one is ever using derogatory terms and stuff like that.
It's just like, you know,
it's just
anything else.
It's fine. Yeah. You know, it's whatever. You know,
I found that refreshing, especially for 92.
Yeah, especially from, you know, Hong Kong.
Yeah. Super cool.
So Go-Fei and Judge are kind of sharing some verbal spars as the other guys are fighting. And they each show their prowess with a gun because Chung is coming after Psycho with a wooden chair. And Judge does his handkerchief trick thing. It looks like he's just shooting with his fingers, too. I love that stylistic flourish. But no, he pulls out a little pistol, shoots the wooden chair, and then Go-Fei pulls out his gun, does the same thing to the other guy's chair.
So they have this weird, like, kind of frenemy, respect, dislike thing going on. Where it's like, oh, we're both great shooters. We're both, like, very witty.
Yep. So Go-Fei's like, okay, fine. We'll work with these guys. Get the money.
It's just one job.
Get the fuck out of here. Yep. But we get a scene with Hung and Judge, and Hung is paying Judge to take out Go-Fei when the job's over. Just kill them all.
Yep.
So Mona, she heads back to Hong Kong while the others stay behind to pull the heist to get the money. She's like taking his mother's ashes back to Hong Kong with her. So they start going over the plan, and they're like pairing people off. It's like Chung and Psycho, which is a bad idea.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But of course, that's all the setup to wipe them out.
Right. Go-Fei doesn't like it, but...
They put Go-Fei with Virgin, right?
Yeah, but he's overridden. They're like, okay... He's ignoring all the signs. He really needs to listen to his gut. But I guess he's in a tight spot.
Right.
What are you going to do? So the heist is to knock over an ammo truck.
Yep. Steal it.
Yep, from a rival, weapons dealer. So Go-Fei and Virgin are kind of parked out waiting for the truck to come out.
And I love it. She's just like throwing her legs up on him. And
yeah.
Just, like all over him, and he's just not having it.
Yeah, he's not having it at all. And she wants to get down and dirty, and he's just like, whatever, we're working. Nope, not interested. And meanwhile, the whole time, Psycho and Chung are just staring at each other in their truck. And Sam is with Judge. Yep. So the ammo truck comes up, and they do the quick little heist. They drive in front of it.
Yeah, like, because Go-Fei, his first part is to drive his car out and kind of just block the road.
Stop the truck,
yeah. Stop the truck.
And then Psycho and Chung come up from behind.
Yep. Virgin tosses in a grenade, kills the drivers.
Yeah. Yep. A little firefight breaks out.
And then Psycho and Chung take the truck.
Yep. And, but Psycho kicks Chung out of the truck onto the ground.
We go off script.
And they drive off without them, leaving Go-Fei and Chung on the road. So Go-Fei's like, fuck this. Gets in the car and starts chasing the truck. But then Judge pulls out, with Sam still in the car, screaming like, oh, what are you doing? You double-crossed us. What the fuck? And Judge pulls up right next to Go-Fei's car and just shoots Chung right in the fucking face.
Yeah. Tough scene.
Yeah. And Sam's freaking out,
And it's one of those things like Judge is like, oh, nothing's going to happen to you. You're my cousin.
Yeah, you're my cousin. I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah,
but
you get to live. The others have to die. Sorry. But we get a pretty decent car chase.
This is a fucking awesome chase. And this is where I want to talk about Tiffany's perception of this film. Because,
okay.
She's always a little cold on the Hong Kong stuff. I think mostly because I'd gone through so much Shaw Brothers.
Yes.
And she's not so much on martial arts films.
Oh, this is totally different, though.
So when I told her we were doing a Hong Kong crime film, she was like, I'm going to stay in the room, but I'm not like into this.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the start, she was kind of like, no, this is what I thought. When we got to this chase scene, she put her phone down and was just watching. And it fucking drew her in, and she was like ride or die to the end of the film.
Oh, nice.
From that point on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even she really liked it.
That's great. So Go-Fei winds up wrecking, flips the car over.
Yeah, it's almost the trauma crash.
Yeah, yeah. Judge gets out. He's looking for him. Go-Fei comes out, starts kicking his ass. There's some back and forth. Judge brings out his knife and goes to stab Go-Fei. And it's a cool scene because Go-Fei grabs the knife. And then Judge
fucking ballsy move.
Yeah. And it's like right in front of his stomach, too. And the Judge just flicks his blade up and cuts off his thumb and pointer finger, right? On his right hand. So, not such a good shot anymore.
But there's a little interruption in their fight because they're right in front of a fucking house.
Yeah,
like a residential.
Yeah. And somebody comes out with like a shotgun or something. It's like, get the fuck off my property, basically. But then Psycho comes up and starts blasting everybody in the house.
Kills the whole family but a young girl.
Yeah. Go-Fei runs into the house for cover. They're shooting the place up like crazy. And Judge goes to Sam and says, hey, here's a gun. Go in there and kill him.
Gotta earn your place.
Yep. We'll let you live,
Let you live, cancel your debts.
Yep.
Kill your bud.
And Sam goes inside after some persuasion, and he's all, crying, and I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And, he shoots Go-Fei right in the fucking chest.
Luckily, this is where it gets into the incompetence thing. He's not very good.
No.
So he shoots him like one time in the chest in a not very fatal spot.
Yeah.
And then he empties the clip, but none of the other shots hit.
Right. And then he comes out of the house, comes back up to the Judge and them, and then Judge grabs that big M16 and starts shooting the place up.
Oh, and I want to mention, there's a deleted scene here.
Apparently there is.
Yeah.
Where apparently Judge had told Sam to cut out those pretty eyes and bring them to him.
He needed proof.
As proof that he's dead. So apparently in the cut scene, Sam takes one of the bodies of the people that lives there and cuts their eyes out.
Yep.
And you can kind of see him cupping his hand.
Yeah, you see it when he walks out of the house. His hand is cupped and it's clutching something.
And there's blood all over it. Mm-hmm. And apparently Judge eats the eyeballs when he brings them out.
It's a little too much.
Yeah, I guess that's what...
He's crazy, but I never took him as that crazy.
Yeah, I guess Ringo Lamb thought, that's a bit much. I think it was a good cut. Usually I like gratuitous stuff like that, but I think that was a good cut.
It doesn't fit the tone, really.
No. So Judge shoots the place up. He's hitting gas canisters and stuff. Big explosion. There's still one girl left alive in there.
Mm-hmm. And a dog.
And a dog.
A fucking adorable dog.
Notably a dog.
And the second I saw him, I messaged you and was like, God damn, Jason, if anything happens to this dog, I am going to be so fucking irate.
Dude, man, I mean, come on. Animals have never been harmed in any Chinese film whatsoever.
That's why I was nervous.
So, yeah, the place is on fire. The girl's burning. Go-Fei grabs her.
Trying to get her out.
He goes out the back.
It's wild because there's like a pressure cooker in there and like...
Yeah, they've got like... It's like the big gas canners because I don't think there's like a lot of, municipal utilities there. Yeah. So everyone kind of has their own little gas, stove. And
so
like
eventually that crossfire, it gets hit and just the whole house fucking explodes.
Yeah. And Go-Fei jumps out the back with the girl who's horribly burned.
Yeah. This is like... It's so cruel the way she looks afterwards. Like...
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. She's rough.
But he's taken off in a boat. And then there's like a box. I guess it's one of the lockers on the boat. It opens up and the dog comes out. So the dog's okay.
Yep. He's a good boy. I forget what breed it is. It's the same kind of dog as Iggy in JoJo Bizarre Adventure Volume 3 Stardust Crusaders, if you're an anime fan.
Okay.
There's a very good boy dog in that show.
Well, what kind of breed is it?
I don't remember.
Some sort of like pit bull terrier thing or something. Anyway.
Fucking adorable.
Yep.
So then we get some like newspapers that come across and kind of some updated.
Yeah.
We get a little time skip.
Yeah, Mona's reading about it, and Go-Fei is believed to be dead. Talks about how these criminals were killed in this big heist, and she and Sam are together, and they're praying for Go-Fu. But meanwhile,
we get the old Spawn. I like to make a good reference to the Spawn comics,
Okay.
Go-Fei's presumed dead, and then there's that best friend to comfort the wife.
Yep.
And a little bit of love blossoms between them.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Go-Fei is being fixed up by this Buddhist monk.
Yep.
He gets fixed up with these prosthetic fingers on his right hand. And we see him kind of taking care of the girl, too, because she's at the hospital now.
She's horribly maimed, but she is alive.
And he's bringing the dog to her and everything.
Because it's a very sad photo that they have of, like, the family before they were viciously destroyed.
Yep.
And it's just, like, her clutching the dog. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Then we get another kind of rock song as we see Go-Fei, like, learning to shoot left-handed.
Yep.
And he's beginning to train and build himself back up.
We get the, like, martial arts... like bounce back training.
Yep. And that's a time-honored staple in these action films. That was often used by Clint Eastwood in his movies.
Yeah.
His character would always get like near death and then have to
slump
basically
away
resurrect and come back and kick ass. Meanwhile,
Sam's living large.
He's
part of the gang.
He rose up with them. They're having this confrontation with another ammo dealer. He's trying to undercut Judge. So Psycho Virgin and Sam go in, show him who's charged. Mm-hmm. And Sam's just like cold-blooded fucking shooting people.
Yeah.
It's like he gives zero shits.
I guess after you break that taboo, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. They shoot the place up, rough the guy up, go outside, and Virgin's got another one of her hand grenades she likes to use so much. So now Mona and Sam are an item.
Yep.
Mona's kind of swimming in this indoor pool. She thinks she sees Go-Fei.
Yeah, I love this shot. It's so cool.
It's like from her point of view under the water, so you just see like this rippling. Mm-hmm. You kind of see Chow Yun-Fat a little bit. She comes up, he's gone.
But Sam's walking out with a towel for her, so it's like, was it him or not?
Yeah. But then we see Go-Fei watching them from the shadows.
Yes.
So Mona's taking a shower, and Go-Fei cuts the power to the place, and Sam comes out to investigate, and then he attacks him.
And I love this part because like he gets him down by the pool, and then he's like, hey Sam, this bullet's for you. Shoves him under the water, is like drowning him, and then he shoots the gun off into the pool just randomly,
shooting all around him. Yeah. Then Mona comes out and is like, "Oh, what the fuck's going on?" And he tells her, "Go-Fei was here."
Yeah.
Then we're back in that club. Mona's doing her dance.
This is more of like a tribal theme sort of thing.
Yeah. And Sam's there. He's drinking, and he's kind of imagining Mona dancing with Go-Fei at this point.
Yeah, because it creates a tension between them of like, he's still alive. What's this mean for us?
Right. What's he after? Then he gets a call from Go-Fei, who tells him to meet him.
Yeah, and he calls him out to like, it's like a tunnel, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's like a tunnel, and of course Go-Fei was looking all cool on his motorcycle and shit.
We need to talk about this scene a little bit in detail because when he gets there, he's like illuminated in this like red backlight.
Yeah.
And behind him on the wall, projected is a little symbol. What's it look like, Jason? Do you want to describe it?
Why can't I remember it?
Oh, really?
Maybe I didn't catch it.
Oh, maybe you just voided it from your mind. When I saw it, I was like, oh, we're going to have to talk about this.
Oh, please.
It is, it's different name in different languages. Most people are going to know it as kind of like a swastika. It doesn't quite look like the Nazi swastika. And I thought maybe that was something we should talk about just to give a little context. I think today times, if you've never seen this film and you go to it, you might be like, what the fuck is this? And why is it like imposed behind him on the wall?
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you think this is supposed to be the original ancient swastika, the one that the Nazis co-opted?
Well, I thought this needed a little context. So, the swastika is this ancient symbol, goes back to different religions and cultures, predominantly found in Eurasian cultures and also some African areas as well. Obviously, to us here in the West, we most associate it with the German Nazi Party, who appropriated it from Asian cultures in the early 20th century and began to use it. And today it is still continued in that appropriation by various neo-Nazis and
bunch of fuckers,
other would-be miscreants around the world. However, it had a long history that went back much before the Nazis, and those cultures still make use of that symbol because,
it's their fucking symbol.
It's their fucking symbol. And it has a purpose of meaning of divinity and spirituality in different cultures, different Indian religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. And it's typically described as like the form of a cross, the arms of which are of equal length and perpendicular to the adjacent arms. Each is bent midway at a right angle. Now, typically when you see it in these sort of like Nazi Party depiction, they have kind of tilted it up.
Yeah, it's kind of tilted on its
side,
axis, so it's
that
like
it's
an X.
sitting on a point.
Yeah.
And it looks more like an X. The original depiction, it's more like a true cross.
Right.
And it's laying flat on one of the bent arms. And so, yeah, it's like the word itself is from Sanskrit, and it means conductive to well-being. In Hinduism, the right-facing symbol that's clockwise is called swastika, and it symbolizes Surya, which means sun, prosperity, and good luck. While when it's turned to be counterclockwise facing, it's called savastika, which means night or some of the tantric aspects of Kali. In Jain symbolism, it represents, I may butcher this word, and I'm very sorry to anyone that cares about this, but Suparshvanatha, which is the 7th of 24 Tirthanakras, which are spiritual teachers or saviors. And in Buddhist symbolism, it's sort of this auspicious sign of the Buddha. And then plenty of other cultures have different interpretations of it as well. And it has different names. In China, it's usually referred to as Wanzi. And I know, of course, because I'm obsessed with Japan, there it's referred to as the Manji. Uh-huh. And equally, as it could happen here if you came to it from a position of not knowing about it, there's different animes that have times have used the Manji symbol. And it's kind of ran into controversy when it came to the West.
Right, because they don't understand the
context.
context.
Because then, like, a kid's watching it, and they're like, why are there swastikas all over this cartoon my child is watching?
Right.
Notably, the anime Bleach, which is very popular, the lead's weapon, when it reaches, like, its evolved form, the crossguard is a manji.
Okay.
And there's a current anime called Tokyo Revengers that's about, like, street gangs fighting with one another. Very fun show, by the way. But one of the gangs in that, they have, like, coats with the manji symbol on the back.
Okay. So what you're saying is Gofei is not a Nazi.
He's not a Nazi. So what you basically the main takeaway from all of this is just to say that here it's using it in like a Buddhist respect because again he was saved by
Buddhist
monk and they kind of rehabilitated him. So it's a very own distinct symbol and you can call it what you want. We would probably say Wanzi since this is a Hong Kong film. And it's very different, has its own meaning, totally separate from the Nazi swastika, which unfortunately has cross-pollinated due to their co-opting and misuse of it. It's kind of like how I used to love to laugh at the Pepe the Frog memes that came out of 4chan. Yeah. And now I can no longer gleefully send them to other people and laugh about them because it was co-opted by the alt-right.
Right.
And is now associated with them.
Yes.
And I hate when fun things get ruined for people. So
anything the Nazis or the alt-right touch just is useless now.
But that's just a little context because when I saw it, I was like, I wonder if anyone would come to this now and be like, whoa.
Oh, nice. Good catch. I don't know why that didn't click with me. I'm not sure what happened there, but thank you. Awesome catch.
But I like it because, to go back to the plot of the film, it makes him seem like it's otherworldly or something, that he has that symbol up behind him.
Kind of like a High Plains Drifter thing.
And it's like, is he alive? Is he dead? What's going on? Is he haunting Sam for revenge?
And Sam tells him that he won't fight back if he wants to kill him.
Yep.
And Gofei is like, hey, if I wanted you dead, you'd be dead already.
Which, I mean, he could have fucking killed him at the pool and never even...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, I want money and I want your help.
He says, you're going to help me. You have to.
Yeah, and Sam's like, okay. Later on, Mona's talking with, asks Sam if Gofei knows about them and if he asked about her. And that kind of sets him off.
Yeah, he gets mad. He's like, why do you care if he's asking about you?
Yeah, what about me? Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd be worried too if China and Fat was, you know, with the chick that I wanted to be with. You got no chance.
There's no hope.
You got no fucking chance. Anthony Wong's cool. Don't get me wrong. So Gofei's plan is he wants to know where Judge's ammo is kept.
Yep. Because he wants to steal a bunch of his weapon trade stuff.
Yeah. And Sam's like, hey, I sold you out before. I'm never going to do that again. I'm not going to sell people out.
Gofei's kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But he respects that too. He was like, that's good. But then he shows him that he's got hung from the very beginning, the loan shark, tied up.
Yes. And it's kind of a reverse prove your loyalty thing.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, you know, Hung, admit that you had Judge betray us, you know, because Sam didn't know about that. Mm-hmm. And, and, you know, Judge spared Sam because he's his cousin and all that. And Sam just, like, pulls his gun and just unloads in Hung's face.
It's like every shot in the clip, all into his face. They don't show it.
No.
But you can just tell it's like mangled at that point.
Yeah, when they show the back of his head, my first thought was like, there's way too much head there.
Yeah.
That should be gone.
It's funny too because where they do it, there's like this Buddha statue, and it's kind of just in a hall off to the side.
Yeah.
So they go down that hall and kill him, and then they just stroll out. Mm-hmm. Very cool visual.
And Sam says he doesn't know where the ammo is kept, but he'll try to find out.
Yep. He says that even though I am his cousin and he spared me, the judge still doesn't trust me that much. The only people he's let know is Psycho and Virgin.
Yeah.
And he tells them, well, then you're just gonna have to find out. That's all there is to it.
Yep. And then we get a couple of them hanging out at a bar. We've got Virgin and Psycho, and they're arguing.
Yeah, we get some more context about their relationship, finally.
It hasn't been good, apparently, in the sack lately.
Yeah.
Virgin's been neglected.
She's got a very high libido. They established that.
Does.
And Psycho, I don't know what his problem is, really. But
No, he goes after some other girl.
yeah, 'cause she's got big tits.
Yeah. But this is the part that kind of was like, because Mona comes out and she's talking with Virgin and stuff. It's like they're friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really buy Mona and Virgin being friends, but whatever.
Well, it seems like they're regulars of the bar, so I guess.
Kind of has to. It's
Yeah.
more like business associates. You gotta be nice to your significant other's business associates. But Mona does finally see Go-Fei at the bar.
Yeah.
He's trying to avoid her the whole time, but she sees him. And Virgin almost sees him too, but she's like too drunk, too out of it.
Yeah, because when Psycho abandons her, they're kind of like, hey, Sam, like, Virgin's sloshed. Can you take her home?
Yeah.
Look after her.
Yeah. They get a little scene between Mona and Go-Fei. She's like, why didn't you come back if you weren't dead?
Oh, and I love the shot, too, where it's like she's walking past all the mirrors, and then he's, like, reflected in them, and she spins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Which is important, again, as setup for a later scene.
It is. So, yeah, Sam is with Virgin in his car. She's wanting to get down. He's kind of like whatever at first, but then goes along with it.
Yeah, he rolls with it.
Yeah. And,
Takes her, drives her out, parks her by the train tracks.
yeah. It's very romantic. Very romantic.
I think the funniest thing is that, like, she kind of teases him, like, oh, you're not going to be, like, rough with me or anything. And then he just, like, leans into it.
Yeah. And at the end of their little tryst afterward, he starts working on her to get the location of where the ammo is kept.
Yep.
And apparently, it's kept at an ice factory. Because that is where Go-Fei and Sam are headed to
Because,
next.
again, this is set in the same world as Final Fight and
Yes.
Double Dragon.
Yes.
And there has to be an ice factory stage.
Yes. I'm surprised there wasn't some platform jumping. There is a little bit of platform jumping. Yeah.
No conveyor belts, though.
No.
That's another staple.
That's a little disappointing. So Go-Fei is telling Sam, like, once the job's done, I'm out of here. I don't care about Mona.
No, like, she's your woman. You're together with her.
Yeah. And Sam says that the ammo is apparently hidden in the ice.
Yep. How clever.
Yes. And they find some guards playing cards. Gofu comes up to them and just says, hey, get the goods together.
I love it because Sam wants to go in guns blazing, and he's like, no, man. Like,
Don't use your gun.
We don't know how many guards there are, so
Right.
don't use your gun. And
Be cool.
Be cool.
And the guards just look at him like, what the fuck? So then, yeah, fight breaks out. Nice, good fist fight. Some knife work. I love the part where Go-Fei stabs one of the goons' hands to the ice block.
Yeah.
And it's all just red and, yeah.
Can you imagine?
It's like bloody ice. It's great. So one goon, however, gets the upper hand on Sam.
Yeah, he's losing control of the situation.
Yeah,
And
but
he gets nervous.
He does this kind of fun twist thing, but shoots the guy in the face.
Which summons all the guards.
Yep, brings all the other guards.
We get a crazy shootout.
Good shootout. Go-Fei starts shooting up gas canisters and stuff, blowing shit up. And there's a great shot where like all the mist is going off, and you just see Go-Fei's gun come out.
Yeah.
Start firing.
Loved it.
So they find out, okay, one of the goons fesses up, and it's on a ship out in the shipyard.
Yep.
Right outside.
They were ready to move it.
Yep.
Which just makes it easier for them. Mm-hmm. And I love it because like there's a chain thing, and they wrap up one of the guards in it and like kick him off the edge.
Yeah.
And he's like just dangling.
Yeah.
And there's like Go-Fei just does this fucking huge jump.
Yeah, we get our platform
down
jumping
to where
here.
the level the boat is.
And Sam's like, nope. And he takes a long way down.
But I loved it because at first I thought he was gonna like go down the chain and just like kill the guy. I was like, whoa. It doesn't happen, but, it's okay.
But they kill a couple more guards, get on the boats, and find out there's crates of U.S. Army ammo, hand grenades.
A little commentary in there.
I think so.
How about it?
So then we get a scene of Judge. He's hanging out in the bar wondering who ripped him off. When, as if summoned out of the ether, Go Fei comes out. He's coming into the bar. Makes it pretty obvious who ripped him off. Although they have a nice little scene where they smile at each other. And, Go Fei kind of waves
I also like
at
it
him.
because after this time skip, we're in this current point. Judge just kind of has this young man that's just always with him.
Right.
It has no purpose other than just to hug and love on him.
Yeah, he's his arm candy.
Yeah.
So Go Fei's asking for $10 million to return the goods.
Yep. Nice and simple. Pay me the money. Get your stuff. We go our separate ways.
Yep. And Psycho, of course, being the hothead he is, starts trying to fight with Go Fei, but Go Fei easily fends him off and tells him that Sam fucked his wife.
And that's the best thing is that, he kind of has forgiven Sam, but it's you're still going to, pay your part.
Yeah, he's still going to needle the fuck out of him every chance he gets. Go Fei leaves, telling Judge will be in touch. And Judge is like, hey, bring Sam here to me. But, showing that he's not a complete bastard, Go Fei does call Sam and say, hey,
I snitched on you.
Yeah, you might want to get the fuck out.
He says, if you run now, you can probably get free and it won't be a problem. But Mona's at the club, right?
She is.
And so he's like, well, I have to go get Mona.
Yep.
Which then just leads him right into Judge's hands.
Yep. And back at the club, Judge is talking with Virgin, and he's like, why did you betray me? And she's kind of talking to him. No. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
betray you.
But Go Fei and Sam both arrive. Of course, Psycho wants to fight immediately. But Sam pulls a gun out and sticks it into Psycho's gut and is like, hey, we're going to go inside. Don't do anything stupid. I'm going to shoot you. And Sam's trying to tell Mona to run as Psycho gets the drop on him and starts kicking his ass. Then we get a brawl breaking out, and Go Fei and Judge are both just kind of watching and observing.
Yeah, they're being very patient on who makes the first move.
Yeah, and speaking of mirrors, the whole mirror imagery, because they're just basically a mirror of each other.
Yep.
Psycho gets this bottle and he's about to go for Sam's throat, but Go Fei pulls out his gun and shoots the bottle right out of his hand. And Sam starts running toward Go Fei, but Judge does his handkerchief trick thing, shoots him right in the fucking leg.
Which is generous, that's not a fatal wound.
No, he is his cousin after all.
Right.
And then we get some really cool effect shots here.
Yeah, so we kind of get our duel between Go Fei and Judge.
Yeah, and they're shooting at each other, each trying to get the upper hand, each getting cover, but we're like the camera's riding the bullet toward each opponent.
And there's one shot they take where their bullets hit in the middle and cancel each other basically.
Right.
It made me think of, and I'm sure they're kind of just aping this, but Equilibrium. Do you remember that film?
Oh, yeah.
Where they do the curved bullets and all that crazy trick shots and stuff. Yeah. Because then we get stuff where he'll take cover behind one of the mirrored columns, and then he'll try to shoot through it. And there's Judge bank shots several times where he ricochets it.
Yeah. It's a really fun sequence.
They get Sam kind of out of the way. He kind of crawls to safety, and it's this interesting scene where Mona's kind of in the crossfire, and Go Fei grabs her and ducks down behind some stuff, and he's clutching her really close, and they kind of have this moment. And then he's kind of what the fuck am I doing? And takes his arm back.
Yeah, right. So the three of them manage to get out of the club. And afterward, Judge has Virgin, kind of tricks her into admitting that, she's the one to give up.
He asks her again, and he's like, I wouldn't care if that's what it was.
Right, yeah. It's okay. It's the three of us. And she's like, yeah. And he just slams her head on the table and just, bam, right in the brain pan. And Psycho's like, what the fuck? But doesn't do anything. Judge is the one person he will not attack or get too pissed off at. Probably because Judge is the only person more psychotic than him.
Yeah, but it's channeled in a different way.
Yeah. So Go-Fei and the others are in the car getting away, and they're talking. And Go-Fei tells Sam that he's still his friend. But now he's no better than Judge because he has no code of honor. Again, we have to have the whole heroic bloodshed, code of honor above all else. And at this point, Mona finds out that Sam shot Go-Fei and left them for dead.
Yeah, final piece of the puzzle there.
Yep. So Go-Fei is patching up Sam, and Mona breaks up with him while he's laying there bleeding out.
And it's funny because she's going to leave, and Sam's like, Go-Fei, go stop her.
Yeah. And they go out, and they smooch and talk a little, but...
And he kind of does the whole, like, I can never be with you.
Yeah.
That's like, we're not those people anymore. And
right.
They do share a kiss, though. Like a farewell kiss kind of thing.
Yep. So then Go-Fei calls Judge up, and Judge immediately gets flirty with him.
Yep.
And Go-Fei says, he says to wash your butt and wait for me.
But they make this deal to kind of meet. It's like a empty parking lot.
Empty lot out there in the middle of nowhere. And Go-Fei does tell Sam that the money he wants is for the girl who got horribly burned.
It's not even for him. It's just to make it right with the girl.
Yeah.
Everything that happened to her. And it's funny because he gives Sam the dog, and he's like, look after this because I'm going to come back for it.
Yeah. So Sam, he loses the girl, but he gets the dog. So it's...
Well, he doesn't get the dog because...
Well...
Presumably, Go-Fei's going to come back for it.
Presumably. Maybe. We'll see. There was never a sequel, so we don't know.
Beyond the scope of this film. It's whatever.
So Go-Fei's waiting for them.
And he tells Judge to come alone and bring the money.
Yeah, right. Like that's
and instead, multiple cars roll up.
Psycho comes out, but he's got a briefcase. And he's like, okay, where's the ammo?
And he's like, where's Judge?
Yeah,
Go-Fei's like, Judge is busy.
I'm only going to talk to Judge, yeah. So Psycho starts losing his shit as always. And Go-Fei throws a grenade at him, takes a page out of Virgin's book. And he's like blowing up the cars. He starts riding around and shooting at them.
This is fucking epic.
Yeah.
I love this scene.
Yeah, it's great. It's really well shot.
It's like tons of dudes, and he just lays waste to all of them.
Yeah. He's just completely riding around them. He shoots Psycho in the foot and then hits him with his bike.
Yes, I love that.
And then Psycho's trying to get up, and he shoots him in the fucking head.
But Judge is there.
Yep.
He's watching from the sidelines.
Yep, Judge shows up and shoots Go-Fei in the left hand. The one who's done all this training with to shoot good now.
Yeah, and he's like, now what you gonna do? I took both hands from you.
Mm-hmm. And Judge is like, yeah, okay, where's the ammo at? And Go-Fei pulls out this detonator and says, I'll show you. Flips it.
Got it right here.
And then all these cars nearby just start exploding. So all the ammo was in there. He's blowing it up.
And this cool, just like fiery wreckage becomes the backdrop for their showdown.
Yep.
And we get some cool stuff where he there's one neat scene where Go-Fei props himself up with the pistol.
Yeah, he starts using it. He starts using his right hand, and yeah. And there's a scene he's using it to prop himself up with. A little bit of gunplay going back and forth. Judge shoots at Go-Fei, hits him in the chest, but he's been wearing this charm necklace the entire time.
Yep. And it's one of those things, you see it for a split second, it kind of is right in the path of the bullet.
Yeah.
And it blunts most of it.
Yeah, it takes some of it out. And Judge is grazed at this point. He's barely even hurt. But then Go-Fei takes out his butterfly knife and throws it at Judge. And it literally goes through his hand.
Yep.
Drops his gun. And Go-Fei tells him to masturbate in hell.
Yep.
And shoots him right in the throat.
Epic finisher.
Yep. And we see Go-Fei fall to the ground.
You think he's maybe out too,
yeah, but... he's having memories of better times. And it kind of
really
fades to black.
Because there's a photo we see it once, and then he thinks about it now, but it's of him, Sam, and Mona all together.
Yeah.
When they were happy and good times.
It fades to black, but then it...
He's not fucking done.
Comes back in.
Job's not over.
We see Go-Fei reach for the briefcase, and he takes off on his bike into the night. The end.
And that's a great spot to end, because you don't need to see the rest.
No, there's no rest. He got the money. He got his revenge. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. So what else you got on this movie?
Love this shit. Okay, I've got a bunch of notes. So let's see here. We talked about all our people. Okay, so I wanted to start with this. This was from an interview in the Hong Kong Film Archive. Lam was talking about this movie and how it's maybe different from some of his more other films. A lot of his other films get like into a lot of political commentary, and this one, is more just kind of a out and out action fest.
It's just an action film.
So speaking on that, he said he didn't want to create a film that had anything to do with the sociological or political issues and situations at the time. He said, I wanted to wash my hands of them and start with a clean slate. People had threatened to chop me up, accuse me of having the wrong political views, and I didn't want to have anything to do with those things or anything else. I wanted to make a film with a style no one could ever put a finger on.
Cool.
Just, fucking epic. We talked about our deleted scene. It came out in July 23rd, 92 in Hong Kong. Grossed about 17 million Hong Kong dollars.
Yeah, did not do very well.
Not very well. I'm not going to convert that for you, but I'll just go ahead and tell you that is not very good.
Well, there's a quote from Chow Yun-fat in Bay Logan's book, Hong Kong Action Cinema, that came out in 95, so right at the end of the whole Heroic Bloodshed.
My man's busting out the literature.
I am. But yeah, it says, let's see here. It says, Chinese audiences stayed away in droves, horrified by this exercise in cinematic carnage. The Hong Kong folk did not want to see Mr. Chow play this gangster, observes Chow himself, adding that he didn't like full contact that much either. Which, that's surprising to me.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
And it's weird, too, because Chow has played gangsters before.
He's played worse people before.
Mark in A Better Tomorrow was a gangster. He's more charming, I guess, and charismatic. Maybe that makes up for it.
I think Go Fei, man, he's pretty honorable, though.
He is.
The way he runs things and handles things. And
right. Maybe people got used to seeing Chow as the cop. I don't know.
Yeah, probably so.
But honestly, even as a cop, like in Hard Boiled, he's fucking ruthless.
Yeah, he's no old bard. I have some different commentaries that have been made about the film. Variety referred to it as fast, fierce, and gleefully tasteless, and went on to say that it lacked the transcendent style of a John Woo Chow Yun-fat feature.
Mm-hmm.
The Austin Chronicle referred to the story of the film as more or less the same old thing you've seen before, while also adding that despite obvious comparisons to Woo's films, Full Contact does survive on its own gritty merits. It's a down and dirty little actioneer that leaves you squirming, breathless in your seat.
That's true.
Fair. In Time Out, it was described as super slick, making opportune use of the Bangkok locations and relishing every violent episode. The film's unquestionably good of its type, but at the same time also sleazy and soulless.
Okay.
I take a little issue with the soulless part, but
it's not really that sleazy either.
Film 4 gave it a very negative review, saying that it was dated and discomforting B-movie fare with a weak plot and weak characterization. Which, characterization, man, they're a little archetypal, but
sure,
they're well-defined, I think.
I agree. Well played.
Sight and Sound in 1998 said of the film it was Lamb's most generic work, describing the first half of the film as watching a theater of cruelty. The review later stated that the second half of the film differs. When Chow's gunslinger returns home to find his wife living with his best friend, the film becomes a perceptive and tough-minded dissection of a romantic triangle. The shifting alliances and emotional stalemates are played out with sympathy and subtlety, suggesting a personal motivation behind the film's making.
Okay.
Just some hot takes to take, I guess, sure. In 2014, Time Out polled a bunch of film critics, directors, actors, stuntmen. It was like, hey, give us your favorite action films, and we're going to make a top 100 kind of thing. Once they tallied and compiled it, Full Contact did make the list at the 89th place.
Okay. I'll rate it a little higher, but okay.
Me too.
I'm glad it's on there.
There's tons of edited versions and alternate cuts. I'm not going to get super into that, but it's very obvious the kind of things they would leave out. The very gory bits, know.
I know the thing with when he was cutting the wrist of that one crook, that was cut down in the UK and stuff.
Let's see. There's currently no official licensed U.S. release for it.
Utter bullshit.
I think, definitely there needs to be a current boutique, like Blu-ray, restoration, something going on.
Action films aren't getting a lot of love right now.
It's time. I'm going to say it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all notes I got.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I brought the movie, so I obviously like it.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your final thoughts on this film?
Sure, I'll start. So there is one more connection I want to make because it was
Sure.
a personal one to me.
Oh.
It's hard for me not to watch this and notice the vague similarities it has to my favorite work of literature of all time. And that is Alexander Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
We have our successful lead that's very liked and beloved by people. He's got a best friend who's always by his side. He's got a love interest that he cares deeply about. Then he suddenly finds himself betrayed by his allies and left for dead and presumed dead. And they all move on to wealth and fortune and fame, including that best friend marrying the love interest.
Yep.
And then he, returns, haunting them, seeking revenge. But this is a Hong Kong crime film, so we don't get the whole intrigue and the second persona and
Right.
all those tricks. We just get right into the shit
Sure.
and the revenge part, which is cool.
Absolutely.
But you really get that feel with like Sam, Mona, and Gofei, that triangle of like the friendship, the betrayal. There is like a soreness between him and Mona of like that she moved on so quickly and that it was Sam.
Yeah.
And they don't like dwell on it in the way that like the Count of Monte Cristo does, but that's still there, and I thought that was like interesting and compelling. And in a lot of ways, like I don't know if you're also obsessed with that at all, like I am, but like film adaptations of the Count of Monte Cristo, they often get it wrong, and they look at it and then they go, well, the obvious thing we need to do is we need to have him get back with the original love interest.
Yeah.
But one of the things of that story is like they're not those people anymore, and they can't go back to that.
Right.
And even like when Mercedes wants to get back with him at the end, he's like, I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Edmond Dantes is dead.
Yeah.
I'm someone else now. And most film adaptations, they will twist it and have them get back together and have
the happy ending.
have the big kiss at the
Blah, blah, blah.
end. And yeah. And so in a lot of ways, even though it's not really, I'm sure it wasn't like a thing they pointed at was like, yes, we're going to do that. But like,
I mean, maybe.
maybe not. It's never on record, but like in a weird way, it's vaguely more faithful to the spirit of that novel than most of the novel's film adaptations.
Cool. Yeah.
But that's just very self-indulgent of me because I love that book, and
I mean, there's definitely a parallel.
I was getting those vibes when I was watching it, and I was like, ooh.
Totally.
And that is to say that I fucking love this film start to finish.
Yeah.
All killer, no filler, no wasted time. It's a simple plot, for sure. That's fair. But it tells it in a great way with great characters and interesting action, set pieces.
How complex does an action film need to be,
Yeah.
really?
I think it just hit every mark it needed to and blows right through it at just the right speed. Amazing characters, like legendary level star-studded cast. Mm-hmm. The score, it's slight, but it's functional, and it does its job, and it doesn't overstay its welcome or get in the way.
No.
The action scenes, the stunts, the effects, just all fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. And like some of the parts, it was like Michael Bay levels of excess. Like when he's blowing the cars at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so over the top, so crazy. But unlike a Michael Bay movie, those are like kind of all flash, no substance.
Mm-hmm.
This still has that layer beneath it all.
Yeah.
Where you've got this like deep thing going on between like the revenge and the betrayal and everything else that's happening. And I just fucking loved it. I cannot believe this does not have a release and that no one's like fighting for the rights to put it out.
Dude, I know.
So I gave it 5 stars.
Woo! Wow.
Yeah, I haven't
Awesome.
doled out a 5 lately, but this one has to be 5 stars.
Yeah, all
No
right.
contest.
Nice. Awesome.
So where are you on it?
Yeah, I mean, I love this movie. It's one of the best HK action films ever. Those critics are right, though. When comparing it to John Woo, is it as good as his movies?
I say yes.
Wow, okay. Oh man. See, to me, it's also a different breed because John Woo, yeah, his is more stylistic. It's more poetic, almost. It's more beautiful in a lot of ways. But it also has this more heightened melodrama that can be a little maudlin sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I do like about this movie. It's not very maudlin. You know, it doesn't dwell on that stuff.
I mean, Lamb's also over here doing like Cat 3 stuff, so he's very like down in the dirt on things,
Right. And that gives it a much more edgier, grittier kind of look, which
For sure.
So to me, they're two very different animals. it is hard not to compare it to John Woo because he's using chow yun fat.
Yeah.
And,
He's playing that kind of character that he plays.
So do I like it as much as, say, A Better Tomorrow? No. But, I still fucking love it. That's a great flick. And it really exemplifies what makes a good action movie good. Because it's physical, it's in camera. Yeah, there's some opticals with the cool bullet effects, which reminds me a lot. Did you ever see Runaway?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much like that. The smart bullet that goes traveling around corners. And it's a really cool sequence. Actually, I have a really big weak spot for that movie. But I mean, it's squibs. It's blood, in camera blood. It's not this digital CG crap we have to live with in American action films now. It's real guns firing real blanks. It's not. You could tell. You could tell when it's fake. The plug-in effects and shit like that people use. It's so fucking boring. So this is very visceral and in your face. And yeah, all the actors are great. Characters are fun. It's just it's almost a perfect action film. If I had any complaint, it does lack that cool factor that John Woo movies had. And since it is so impossible to not compare it, it does feel a little lacking for that.
Okay.
Because there are very cool scenes in here, but there's even just scenes in A Better Tomorrow where we see Chow Yun-fat as Mark using that counterfeit $100 bill to light his cigarette with. It's so fucking cool.
Iconic.
Instantly iconic. And I'm not sure there's any instantly iconic images in this movie necessarily.
Okay. Sure.
So having said that, is it an unfair comparison? Probably, but it's one I can't help but make in my head. I would give this movie 4.5 stars.
Okay.
Just because it's not quite.
I mean, when it's a Jason 4.5, isn't that really like a 5-star review in the end? Because you're very stingy with those. So.
I am. I really am. But no, it seems like we're pretty much right there with each other on this one.
Fucking just reinvigorated me, got me all excited about cinema again.
Nice. And that's the thing,
I like when those come along.
That's what I love about the Heroic Bloodshed movies, is that they're so exciting.
Yeah.
You watch them, you get into them, there's a reaction. Most American action films are just like, okay, yeah, there's an explosion. Okay.
And I always threaten Tiffany with one day I'm going to drag her down here and make her talk on an episode about something. But that was interesting to watch with her, that she was like, I don't want to watch this. Mm-hmm. And it literally drug her in. And she was right up to the end and was like, wow, that was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is a testament to the film.
Because she, even as much as we criticize stuff, is a tough critic. So
Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
Killer.
All right, man. I guess the next movie is yours.
You left me with an impossible act to follow.
Ooh.
And I don't think I could even try to be like, let me one up Jason now. So
that's right.
This is going to be the come down from the high.
Okay.
It's got to happen.
All
right. And I've been thinking about I guess it's just because the next Deadpool's about to hit the theater.
Oh God, what are you gonna do to me?
I've kind of had the the superhero movie thing go. Oh, Jason's getting the sweats over there.
Oh no.
Well, let me finish.
Okay, all right.
But I've been thinking about that, and we've had several times where they've tried to make it be the thing, and it wasn't really until this most recent run of Marvel and DC that did the thing, right? Batman worked, but the X-Men movies were kind of whatever, and we got Spider-Man was kind of good, but people were mixed, and here and there we had some successes like Blade, right? And I think last time we kind of yucked it up about the OG Captain America flick.
Well, Red Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, I don't know, it's had been on my mind lately, and it's we're very oversaturated right now with superhero films. And then there's those ones that fall in the cracks where it's it's not even really based on a comic, but they kind of tried to do that vibe.
Uh-huh.
And there's this one that's always stuck in my mind a lot. And I loved it so much back in the day, and I'm pulling a Jason, so this is very dangerous. I've not revisited it in a long time.
Uh-oh.
And just here recently it came to my mind, and I was like, I want to go back to that one. And I bet you've never seen it, so I bet we should just check it out. And then, does it hold up? Is it good? Is it bad? In my mind, I remember it, and I'm like, it's kind of a precursor to, superhero-type movies being good. But maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll see. So I want to take you back.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the year 2009.
Oh, God.
to a mostly unremarkable director named Paul McGugan, known for such other things as Lucky Number 11 and Victor Frankenstein.
Oh, shit.
To talk about his film, Push. Do you know this movie?
Push.
I'll give you the synopsis.
Okay.
After his father, an assassin, is brutally murdered, Nick Gant vows revenge on Division, the covert government agency that dabbles in psychic warfare and experimental drugs. Hiding in Hong Kong's underworld, which is our connecting point to your film, Nick assembles a band of rogue psychics dedicated to destroying the Division. Together with Cassie, a teenage clairvoyant, Nick goes in search of a missing girl and a stolen suitcase that could be the key to accomplishing their mutual goals.
Yeah, I don't remember this one at fucking all.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see. It looks like on Letterboxd it's got a pretty mixed reception.
Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Camilla Bell, Jimon Hansu. Ming-Na Wen's in it too, I believe.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she's in there.
I can dig that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. This little experiment. I know it's on Tubi right now. I think you could stream it on Pluto. You can rent it everywhere, I know. I actually have the Blu-ray because I caught it somewhere for like $3. So
that's an encouraging sign.
We will just see what happens. This is an experiment on my part. So.
All right. Okay, maybe after I watch the trailer, I'll be like, "Oh, I remember seeing this now."
We'll see. But in the meantime, after this, we'll be doing another listener episode. So we need more suggestions. Send them in. Let us know. Tell us what you're watching, what you're checking out, what you think is cool. Give us more movies to watch, especially weird stuff, foreign stuff, underloved stuff, underseen stuff.
Give us some more HK stuff.
We'll watch it. We'll be that person. We'll talk about it.
Yep. We'll do it.
Do it. And you can reach out and check in with us, and we'll, be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing too? We like to know what you're doing. And you can hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or you can email us at genreexposure@gmail.com. And all that being said, as Jason is still trying to decide if Push is a good or bad idea, I will say to you, you have been listening to Genre Exposure.
Bye, everybody.
It's the most nervous exit ever. Take care.
Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.